And I don't know, I just feel like it's like the wording. It's just like for me, like you never want to feel like you're in a box and you're just, one thing. That's the part where it's just like,
Yeah,
okay,
I can understand that, but like I
like
said, in
that's the
relationships
reason why
and
that word it doesn't settle right with me.
what all I'm
Because
saying is
it's I
recognize.
feel like with I just feel like with relationships, it's about give and take. And, where one falters, then somebody else is there. Or, vice versa. Like,
I just think you guys get caught up on
I just
that.
don't feel like somebody should just be like more submissive than the other. I just feel like I don't understand why you can't communicate and be
Partners.
like partners in a way where it's like you guys can just understand that, where like one has to have more power than the other. Like I just feel like that's
The
like a
Do
reason
you
why
very
do you think there's any kind of
so
do you think there's any kind of power in submission?
mm,
hmm?
Do you think there's any kind of power in submission? Being
No, there
submissive. Do
is.
you see?
No, there is, because there's a lot of there, and I've when it's come to like me and certain types of relationships, like I've had to learn to like pick and choose my battles. And just as long as I know that I'm being the one that's like the sane one, or I'm like, okay, whatever. And it's not to like like sort of like to not appease the situation, just to move on. Like I feel like it's also just being and taking like ownership of like just having the peace. And sometimes it can make you feel like a little bit down or degraded, but somebody has to be that type of person, and I've had to learn to like do that.
well, I think. Do you realize that it's better to understand what makes is valuable in a relationship? Is your opinion about everything valuable, or is it rather? Would you rather give a lot of responsibility to the men? I'll give you an example. When you drive out of town, do you tell your man everywhere to go? Like, are you saying, "Hey, drive the freeway, take that 101, make the left here, park here, put the 10 cents in there," or do you just allow your man to put the key in the car and drive, and you guys are, that you're going to get to your destination?
Yeah, you look like it looks like you lost her.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No,
What I,
like
well,
no,
I,
because no, but then that I'm not even talking about that low, because I'm like, well, just as long as I get there safe, like I really don't care, like
well, that's what
whatever.
submission is. That's what submission is that you are allowing somebody else to take the driver's seat. And that's what it is. So it's not a partnership. You're both not driving the car. One person is riding, and the other person is allowing the other one to care for the safety and to do all the things necessary to get you to the destination. And you're enjoying the ride going along with it. So as long as you get that in your mind, that submission is not about putting you down as the person who's not driving the car. I'm helping you. I'm putting the gas in the car. I'm doing the things that are necessary to move this relationship forward and get us to a spot that we want to get to. So that's why submission is not a bad thing. I you're sitting in the front seat with all the popcorn and all the treats, and you got the music blasting. You're doing the things that you want to do, but you're not taking the risks of or the things of the role that a man is doing on the road. You're not looking left and right. You're not looking up and down. All you're doing is just being in your natural space, free as a bird. Well, not free as a bird, but just
Francesca,
relaxing
you
your
want to chime in on this?
femininity.
I don't mind that though. I just feel like it's semantics at the end of the day.
It's not because you're having a problem because you're saying partnership and you're saying equality and you're saying that I want to do this, but you're not really recognizing what is most valuable. The whole picture is most valuable. You both can't do
No,
the
I
same
know.
thing.
I just mean that like I hope that like, you know, even though like you can have that type of relationship that, you know, like you're respected and your opinions are respected and your mind is respected. That's the only thing that I want to make sure that I get out there.
Oh yeah. There's always gonna in any relationship there needs to be respect.
Of course. I
Yeah,
mean, a solid relationship is built off of respect.
yeah.
So just because one person is submissive, one person is taking the lead, it doesn't mean that one shot should be respected and one shot should not be respected. There's equal respect on both sides. Like both have their parts, and that's the whole thing. It's kind of because you hear the word submissive, or because a lot of women actually hear the word submissive, they think like that means my opinions and thoughts are going to be drowned out. And it's
No,
kind of like we're opposite sides of the same coin. Both sides are equally as valuable. We just play different roles.
yeah.
If that makes any sense to you guys.
Yeah, no, it makes sense to me. You know,
No, it
growing up in an
does.
Italian household, my mother, used to say to me when a group of men are talking, you gotta get up and leave the room. Never ask how much he makes at the track, or always you have to make the plate of food first for the man, the husband. So there's submissive, you can have one more so than the other in a relationship, but I'm thinking as being submissive as doing honoring the father, or honoring the father of your children, honoring your husband to a point where you can't even eat in the same like table as them. Like that's old school. That's like old school Italian stuff. So, at 2020, if I were to just get up and leave if a group of men are talking because my husband would prefer that and that's the right way, I think that's kind of like messed up. Does that make sense when it comes to like that? It was normal, especially at one point. My mom even taught me that, but now it's just not a.
Yeah,
I don't think that's
and
normal
I think there's certain little
anymore.
nuances. Yeah, there's certain little nuances that obviously don't
Yeah,
need to happen as much. Um,
I disagree. I think everything in it is still valid today. It's just more and more people are not willing to do them. You know, and I think more and more people aren't willing to like. I'm sorry. I'm married. My wife actually loves to do the work of the house. She gets mad at me if I say, "Hey, I'm gonna do laundry." She's like, "Oh, why would I want you to do the laundry? Like you've been at work all day." You get what I'm saying? Like there's certain things that, women are just now like they've just wanted to go by wayside. Like if you ever have you ever gone to one of your friends' house who are married and their house is just junky? Who does that reflect poorly on?
women.
yeah,
Yeah. Because it's always going to be the woman's role in that situation, right? Now, if the house is junk and you see a guy, her husband walk up and he got a dustpan and he got the apron on, he's like, "Baby, you got to cook," and she's just sitting on the couch, japping off. So there are roles that are satisfactory in relationships. You know what I mean? There's certain you like me. I like I said, like as a man, I find paying the bills more satisfactory than me splitting the bills. You get what I'm saying? I find it better that when I go to a restaurant and I pay for my wife's food, I find those things to be satisfactory to me because I'm in my role. Some women want to do both. They want to be able to pay. It's like, come on now. So I think a lot of women have just lost the fine art of what femininity is, and they're not willing to settle because they want to be able to experience things that are just not in their role or order or space, and then it just ends up being more sex. So I'm sorry. Melissa, I think, is mad at me.
Yeah.
Melissa
No,
is
I'm
like
just
all out of frame. She's like,
She's holding her head. She's just like, I can't deal with this guy anymore.
She's like, all the thoughts in my head are so heavy that I can't.